So far, we have designed a database and we have created our tables and established our primary and foreign keys. And this week, you are going to learn how to insert rows, delete rows, and update columns within rows. So you do need to read chapter 7 in the book, and you're going to want to kind of work through the lecture demo. And as always, there are interactive exercises for you to practice, and it does cover all of the commands that you need to use to add data to your tables. It includes inserting individual rows and copying rows from one table to another. In addition, you will learn how to not only copy all of the rows from a table, but you'll also learn how to copy all of the column names as well. So lots of information in the lecture demo. You're going to want to walk through. There's lots of examples for you to look at. And if you copy and paste these examples into SSMS, you should be able to run them. In addition, there are links to live examples that you can practice and play with. And once you're done with this, you will work on the textbook assignment. And so this is where you're going to get more hands-on practice with the various commands for inserting rows, updating rows, and deleting rows. And there are videos that go with every task that you need to complete that show you and tell you how to go about accomplishing the task. When you are done with the textbook assignment, you're going to work on the second part of milestone number 2. So the second milestone involved creating your tables, establishing the primary keys and the foreign keys, and setting up your indexing. Now you are ready to add data. And the order that you add the data is extremely important because you don't have anything in your tables yet. So how the tables are related becomes critical because you can't add orders, for example, until you have customers. And you can't add customers until you have zip codes, because the customer table uses the zip code as a foreign key. That means the tables that don't have any foreign keys are the ones that have to be entered first. In this case, it is products and zip code. Once we've entered products and zip code, then you can look at the tables that would require either one of those keys. So customers does require the zip code key as a foreign key, and that is the only foreign key. Now, how do I know that? In the database diagram, the keys next to the customer table indicate it is the primary key in the relationship. So that means that the customer ID was added to payments as a foreign key, and the customer ID was added to orders as a foreign key. So the only table that customers is really dependent on is zip code, because customers is the many part of the relationship, which means we have zip code added as a foreign key. So we add zip code first, then we can add customers. Once we have the customers, we can add in the payments, because the only thing payments is dependent on is customer ID. Once we add customers, we can also add orders. If we have products and we have orders, we can then add items on order, because items on order is dependent on item number and it's dependent on order ID. It needs both of those in order to complete the table. So I do have some examples of how to insert rows. You will notice that when I insert rows, I do not specify all of the columns. That is because I am entering data into all the columns. So if you're going to enter data into all the columns, you do not have to list them out. If your primary key is an identity column, which means that it's going to be automatically numbered, you do not need to enter data into it. You can actually skip that. But all of your other columns do need to have data. Even if they allow nulls, which you can see my last column here does, I've entered null. Now, if you have, let's say, 10 columns and 8 of them allow null values, and you're not planning on entering anything in those 8 columns, then I would probably indicate what columns you're going to enter data into, and then only enter data in those columns. Okay, so you kind of have to look at how you've set up your tables. Anything that is not null is required and has to have data. If it allows null values, then you just have to figure out, well, am I going to put something in here or am I not going to put something in here? Okay, and if you're not going to be entering data into all the columns, then you may want to list out the ones that you are going to enter data into. Okay, and you'll notice I did not list out my columns because I'm entering data into all of them, including the null column. So once you have data in all of your tables, then you just need to turn in your scripts. If you saved your scripts when you added the data, you can just turn those in as is. If you did not save the scripts, you can generate them by going through the steps that I've listed, and then you'll be able to turn them in. But I definitely need your scripts because I recreate all of your tables. That way it's easy for me to help you in upcoming weeks with queries or problems that you may encounter. So that is pretty much it for milestone 2. And since we're done with milestone 2 and you actually have tables with data, we will be sharing them with the class. So you will see we have the Dropbox for the textbook assignment. We got the Dropbox for the final project, milestone 2. And then we have what I call a mini showcase, where you basically get to show off your project. And there are some requirements for that. You are going to create a PowerPoint presentation. You do need a title slide. You need to include the database diagram in a slide. And then for each one of your tables, you should include the table structure and the data. And this is pretty easy to do with the snipping tools. So I will quick show you. Let me pull over Sugar Baker here. So the database diagram should be up in here. If you haven't generated one, you can just right click and say new database diagram. And this is basically an ER diagram. And if I shift and click on the last one, I can add them all. And then we'll close. And so I have an archive table that's not connected, which is fine. You'll be creating those later. The ones that are relevant to this particular project are the ones that I'm showing. And you can move things around by dragging the title bar, just like I am. So you can kind of get it how you want it to look on the slide. And then you'll use your snipping tool. hit New, and just drag over the part that you want to copy. And then you can go to Edit and Copy. Go right into PowerPoint. See, I probably throw in a new slide. And this is where I'm going to paste. And so usually what I do to paste is I just press Control and the letter V, but you can also use the paste button. Okay, and then it'll be something similar for your tables. It's just a matter of, let me close that. For like the customer table, if I kind of expand out and I can display the columns, I can see the keys. We'll hit New, and I'll just drag right over that. And then I can copy that and paste it. And then for the data, you can run a select. Or you can right click. It's a little shortcut here. Let's see, select top 1000 rows is going to run a select. And so you can see your data. So you can manually run a select, and I don't think I would run it this way, right? I would probably just do select asterisk. From customers. And above that, assuming it wasn't looking at sugar bakers, I would just say use sugar bakers. It's going to give me the same results. So 2 different ways of getting your data. Okay, and then I would copy this, paste it over here. Maybe do a little resizing. If I didn't want these placeholders, you can click on them and get rid of them. Or you could simply change your layout. That one might work better. So it's kind of up to you. You know how you want to do this. Any placeholder in PowerPoint that you don't like, if you click in it and click a border, you can actually delete it. Okay, so however you want that to lay out. So that's just an example, but that is the type of thing that you need to do here. Once you've got all of your slides, then you are going to export this into an MP4 video. Okay, so you'll go to File, Export, Create Video, and you'll choose your settings. Seconds spent on each slide. That doesn't really matter all that much because, people can pause the video, but I would give them about 20 seconds. And then you want to make sure the file type is MP4 because that is compatible with Moodle. Okay, so once you have the video, and it may take a while for it to convert, you'll see like a progress bar on the bottom of PowerPoint. Once you have the video, then you're going to go into the discussion forum. Okay, and you're going to add an entry. So if I click add new discussion topic, you know, whatever the name of my database is, I would put in here. Expand that down. And then this is the button that will let you upload your video. So you need to select the video tab, and you're probably going to have to browse and select choose file. And then you'll find it on your system and get it uploaded and post it to the forum. Okay, after you have posted to the forum, your classmates will have a week, the next week, to kind of review all of the videos, and you do need to reply to 3 of them. And that is pretty much everything that we have for this week. I don't think that the assignment and the final project, the lab assignment, are going to take you all that long. So you should have plenty of time to work on that showcase presentation. Okay, and that is pretty much all we have for this week. If you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know, and have an awesome week.